All right, welcome back. Welcome back for the afternoon session. For everyone who was part of the morning session, good to have you back. And for newcomers who missed the morning session, there was a lot of consolidation. So there was we didn't miss a lot. We didn't catch any scalps. We didn't find any. But we did take one trade on the way up after a retracement. There was a surprise FOMC this morning at 9:30. Along with the opening bell, there was a speech by one of the FOMC members. So that created a little bit of volatility this morning where we saw about a 45, 50 point move up. And then price kind of stalled and got stuck there. So we didn't see a lot of growth after that. So we just monitored price, caught a nice little move up after a retracement, and then just sat on the sidelines for the rest of the session until lunch. I have three lines on the charts right now. The one at the very top, 17,012. That was the high of this morning. So we struggled to get above 17,000 several times. We just kept bouncing against it and retracing, and then finally broke it and just kind of sat in that area before doing a retracement just before lunch. The middle line at 16,995. I believe that is, let's see, what was that? Okay, so that was the high from 930. That price just kind of played above and below. It just kept kept running, but it couldn't really choose whether it wanted to trade above this high or trade below it. You can even see here, it's still, even right now, price is still playing above and below it. And then this lower line down at 16,966 just before lunch, I saw that as being a draw in liquidity. And it was mainly because we had equal lows. So at 10:45, there were two lows put down that were at the same price. And then you can see that price really didn't make a lot of progress throughout the morning. And then just before lunch, as it started to retrace back down, I figured that might be a level that price would want to go get. Not that it would settle there, but it at least wanted to achieve that status, and it did. And immediately afterwards, it bounced out for about 30 points, and that's where price is now. So that's a quick summary of where we were this morning and kind of what I was looking at heading into lunch. So now that lunch is over, we're going to wait and see if price can break out of this range because it's just been trading in this range since the high after 930. We're now looking at still 17,000 as being sort of that sweet spot before we start believing in longs again. But we're not looking at shorts unless we can get below 966. Anywhere in between here is just price action, and it's trying to confuse people. So we're gonna take a little break and just watch price for a bit before we jump into anything. Let's just make sure there were no news events that the Fed wanted to surprise us with, like they did this morning. Okay, it looks like we're clear for the afternoon, so we're not going to worry about news. Let me pop over and take a peek at the other indices just to see what's going on there. Yep, so the lunch hour looks about the same. Dojis on both. Small up movement of a few points, but not much. Wick above, wick below. Highs made during the 11 o'clock hour for both indices. On the US dollar, we had some progress made during the lunch hour. So we see a little retracement instead of going for lower prices. It's buying up. There's a fair value gap just above the high from 10 o'clock. So it may want to run into that area, run above the 10 o'clock highs, hit the fair value gap, and then seek lower prices. So we'll have to monitor the dollar over the next hour or two to see where it's going. And then from there, we're going to anticipate where indices may be going. But for now, let's just watch the next few candles and see where price is. We do see we just got a sweep of this low right here. So if price wants to return bullish and seek higher values, then we may have something going on. But until that happens, let's just be patient. Okay. Another low swept. Okay, let me just put Fibonacci on this and just see what retracement levels we're looking at. Okay, so we are trading in discount as far as this leg of price action is concerned. Remove, I'm sorry, this lower one. Let's also remove this one. We're not confused about what we see. We can also get rid of that one as well. Okay. Now we can watch. Okay, we're now at the 70% retracement level. All right, I'm gonna remove this Fibonacci since we've gotten a complete retracement now. Let's going to reinstate the line I had earlier, which was the equal lows from the lunch hour that it swept. Just so we're familiar with where that position is. So we just taken that again, just like we did at a few minutes after 12. The last time we rallied from 966 up to about 702. So we're talking about 35 points. Okay, it looks like not only did it sweep the same equal lows from lunch hour, but it even took out the low that the lunch hour made by just one tick. Make that larger so you can see. Just one tick below that line. Um, this might be good for longs this afternoon, because maybe what this sweep of lows was to ensure anyone who was in on a long from lunch, if they had their stop loss placed right below this low, they're now no longer in the trade, and now price can run up. So let's look and see if price wants to return bullish, and if we target these highs up here. And this is back. Welcome back. Yep, you're right. You're right, and it's the market's still in that range. Yeah, from making, once it swept the highs this morning around 6 o'clock, it looks like hasn't made a lot of progress since then. Okay, it's right now stuck in this bearish fair value gap. So we're going to wait and see if it can push through. It may actually come down, touch, bounce, and then attack it again. But until that happens, we'll just wait and see. And so far, it hasn't made a decision on which direction we're headed this afternoon. But if you want a good view of what price action has been doing for the past few hours, take a look in the lower left-hand corner at the 5-minute chart. You can see back as far as 9 o'clock, and you can see the price really hasn't moved anywhere. We have highs in relative same area. We have lows in basically the same area as well. And so it's just a 40-point swing up and down for the last 3 hours. Oh, okay. A good idea. I'll try to do that. I'll figure out how to do it. Thanks for the suggestion. Yeah, it seems like it's usually a slow grind. We add a few people every 5 or 10 minutes, and then by the end of the hour, we have a good amount of people in the room. But at the very beginning, it's usually a little slow. Okay, let's see if the bullish fair value gap will hold. So far, it's shown that it can. Let's just see how this current candle closes. Got another 10 seconds on it. I'll continue drawing all the fair value gaps for now, just so everyone can get used to seeing them. But at some point, I'll stop drawing all of them because they don't usually hold very long. And it's multiple in one area. So I'll probably just kind of stick to the top one and the lower one and just kind of let price bounce in between. But for now, I'll mark them all up just so everyone can see how often they do form. Okay, so far we have a good reaction from the bullish fair value gap. Continue to stretch these out to see where price lands. If we can get a close above, then we'll start deleting some of these. Okay, there's one. Let's see. Did I receive that? Okay. Okay. Yeah, the only thing I got from Topstep is related to the market being closed on Monday. Is that what you're talking about, or was it something else? But yeah, I got that. So the markets will be closed on Monday. Well, I guess they were saying Friday at 5 p.m., which is normal. It'll be closed all day Monday. It'll reopen at 6 p.m. Eastern on Monday. Yep. So unfortunately, we won't be able to trade on Monday, but I'm sure everyone will be busy with their families or just doing something else. Or maybe my Middle Eastern friends. Okay. A good sign. Hopefully, we can close above this fair value gap and trade above it. However, taking out this high, we may see a small retracement, maybe one or two candles, and then a push out. Oh, I was kind of wondering where you were going with that, Chris. Okay, let's move this. Oops, my mistake. And we haven't switched back bullish yet, but I just want to start looking for scalps. So I want to see when they start winning or when they start revealing themselves. We didn't catch any this morning, so I don't want to miss them this afternoon if we don't have to. And I don't expect this to be a scalp entry. I just want to start marking up the chart, looking for this bullish momentum going up. Yep. Yep. So 3:10 Central Time is the same as 4:10 Eastern. So that's the normal time that it closes. But yeah, Monday there won't be any trading, and then it'll open up 6 p.m. Eastern Time or 5 p.m. Central Time on Monday evening, ready for Tuesday trading. Alrighty, price is definitely moving in the direction we want to see it go. Oops, sorry. There we go. Okay, we're close to switching back to bullish sentiment on where we think price is going. If we can reach 16,993, then that's where, and there we go. So I'll stop talking. We'll just continue monitoring price and look for a setup. As soon as price is out of this range, we still needed to get above 17,000. Right, this range has just been too active this morning in this area. Okay. Potentially could get stuck here, so let's identify that and mark it up. Let's get a close above. And full disclosure, I'm really regretting not taking an entry down here. Got my FOMO flaring up on me. For anyone who was on the morning session, we called out an area of around 17,090. 17,090 has been the midpoint, the 50% level of a weekly bearish fair value gap from early 2022, back when price was at his all-time high. So we entered that level about 40 points ago down at about, what was that, 920-ish? Let me find it. About 950, 947, somewhere in there, so around 950. Um, but we're thinking that potentially we could be reaching up for 17,097, 17,096, somewhere in that range. So that's about 100 points from where we are now. And not saying we get there today, but we do expect price to eventually reach for that. So it could be in the cards for today. But we are looking for higher prices based on market structure. It's been pushing that way, and looking at higher time frames, 15 minutes, 1 hour, everything's still pointing towards price going up. Even the 5 minute hasn't switched to bullish either. I'm bearish, I mean. But in order for that to happen, we do need to get above 17,000 and sustain it. Yeah, absolutely, echelon. You're right. in that a bit so we can continue to watch and wait for price to trade above, stay above with a closure of a candle. I hope that this fair value gap provides support for price. We see the 50% level holding the candle bodies. The wick pierced through the lower edge, but we do see the candle bodies staying above and closing above the 50% level. So let's see if price continues to push and does the same for this fair value gap. Trade above, close, and stay above. Ultimately reaching for 17,002. Mm-hmm. You're right. Absolutely. If you had micros with lower risk, be a little easier to enter into trades and hold them with fairly large stop losses. All right. So we had a sweep of this high, but it traded back into the fair value gap. So we still want to see it trade out of and close out and not trade back in. So we don't want it to trade above, close like it did over here. Well, this is before it created it. But that's not what we want. We don't want it to trade above, close above, and then come right back in. Oh, wow. Okay, that was aggressive. Now that we've had a push through and a close all at the same time, let's remove this fair value gap. And now that we want to have a larger range and play in here somewhere, let's this one needs to go as well. Okay, keep an eye on time as well. It's now 1:37. Yeah, that's true. Yep, trusting your model is key to being successful in trading. It's nothing like moving your stop when you don't need to, or closing trades early when you didn't have to, or holding on for them too long. Um, so yeah, trusting your model, and that's where back testing and those kind of exercises really give you a lot of confidence and helps you out quite a bit. Okay, let's see if it makes another try. See what we can do. So a new high just for the, last hour or so. So it's taking out these two highs. Again, can we close above and can we stay above 17,000? That's the question. Closing above. That's already occurred. Good job. Now let's see if these newly created fair value gaps will hold price above. Again, pushing for 17,002, which was the high of the lunch hour. Okay, 17,000. Not quite. According to the scalping strategy, let's see. I was really waiting for it to get up to its high. But yeah, so we broke the high here, which turned us back bullish. Right. And absolutely we got a sweep of a low here, another one there. Then we got a new high. So then we would let's see. Got a sweep of a low, made a new high. So we just blasted through. So that wasn't a setup. Well, that was a setup, but it definitely wasn't a winner. Okay, let's now go back. This would be a new high, sweep of a low, new high. So now the setup would be from here down to here. And we'd be just waiting for a retracement. If we make a new high from here without retracing down, then let's see. No, we didn't get a sweep of a low in here. Good. So now when we look at the last leg up, all we see is bullish fair value gaps now. So that should give us some comfort that we're looking at higher prices coming, at least through the lunch highs. So then we'll see a full retracement of lunchtime progress. Well, we already saw the full retracement, but then we'd see a reclamation of the previous high from just before 1 o'clock. If we can reclaim 17,002, the next we'll be looking for 17,012, which is the high of the day. All right, awesome, awesome. Hmm. Okay. All right, so now the next swing low that potentially could create a setup would be here. Just okay, we had swing low taken. Let's see if now it races for a new high. Okay, already achieved that. And wow, that was fast. All right, that ended my trade, so that did not work out for me. I knew it was risky because we are at the top of the range for this leg, reaching the top, and this level that we tried so hard to get through. There would likely be a retracement, but I thought there was still an opportunity with 17,012 up ahead of us, um, but that didn't work out. It's okay. We'll get ready for the next setup. I think I'll go back to my original idea of waiting until we trade out of this range and potentially take a setup up in this area, assuming we can get up there. Yep, we pretty much had our last setup over here. Or was that? Okay, no, this wasn't a setup. This was just measuring the retracement from that leg at 10:30 when it retraced down. That's what this is for. So let me delete that so there's no confusion. Okay, we're still trying to trade above 17,000 and sustain that. We had a little, 3 or 4 minutes during the lunch hour. We did trade above it this morning up to 17,012, but both times reaching apexes and severely dropping off. We did a big reach here, severe drop off afterwards. So so far today, price has not been willing to trade above and maintain that position. Okay, we're now approaching the 50% of this fair value gap. Let's see if that can hold price. Otherwise, it may move to the one on the lower tier. Let's go and measure this retracement just so we know where we are as far as discounts are concerned. Okay, we just had a full 70% retracement. Well, not a full, but a optimal trade entry down to 71%. Okay, let's get rid of this. Okay, 2 ticks away from 78.6 retracement. And I'm gonna see if we can get this to run back up to the previous high. I'm hoping we don't get a return all the way down. Just for anyone wondering why I took this trade, we were down at the 71% retracement. Price seemed like it was stalling there. Not to mention, so far today, it's still been bullish. It just hasn't been willing to make new highs and carry that forward. It'll make a high and then it'll make a retracement. And so I was just banking on this 71% retracement being exactly that. And it was close to 78 too. So I felt like it was low risk. Put an original stop loss below this candle. So not the candle that made the fair value gap, but one candle to the left at that extreme. Once we were up 5 or 6 handles, and I said, okay, let's just move to break even and see what happens. So that's where we are. right? And sort of the target is the way I look at these trades are kind of a 1 to 2. So ideal entry would be at the very top of the fair value gap at 988. Stop loss would have been down here at 81 and a quarter. So we're talking about 7.5 points. Double that for a 1 to 2 trade gives you about a 15-point take profit. So 89. Yeah, so it gets us up to this range. I guess I could extend it and just put it here at 03, but somewhere in that range. That's what I'm looking for. And right now it's not even a 1 to 2 trade because I've already taken the stop loss off and making it break even. No problem, Charles. Yeah, I'll be right back. Give me a moment. Ready. Should have left my stop loss or my take profit where it was before because the take profit was here, I believe, right at 702. You know what? Just shut it off there. At least I made back what I lost before. We'll take it. Good point, Echelon. Good point. It's a lot easier to walk away when you're in profit and you have your stop loss at break even. I wasn't gone long, but yeah. So this was a not an easy trade, but you can see it ran up and would have delivered right there, and then you start running into trouble. So yeah, we can see now we're still running into issues making highs. Not that price won't make new highs today, but yeah, this higher time frame fair value gap is just holding price where it is right now. Um, but it was good to close out that trade, making up the money that we just lost in the previous setup. Um, So let's just continue waiting, and we'll see if another setup shows itself. All right, yeah, we're still looking for prices to get above 1700 and stay. Um, Seems like that's the ceiling. It keeps bumping up against that resistance, trading below, bumping up against it again, trading below. I didn't notice the time. We're now past 2 o'clock. So hopefully this hour gives us something different, and maybe this is the hour we can break out of this sort of stranglehold that we've been on all day. No problem, Echelon. I'm happy to do it. I enjoy teaching. I enjoy just having someone to talk to. I'm usually sitting here all day, the same as I am now on these live streams, but it's just me. So being able to talk to you guys is actually helpful for me. It allows me to talk myself through the scenario. If I'm sitting here alone, I'm probably not going to be talking. So so it's actually good to speak it out loud, and it reaffirms my own knowledge and what I'm thinking. So it's good for me, and I'm glad you find value as well. I must say, for the last 3 years, trading has been my life. Pretty much every day, I've been either looking at the charts or looking at YouTube videos of someone teaching a skill or something related to trading every day for 3 years. So it's um, for me, it's a blessing to be here. And it's I appreciate you joining again on both sessions. Thank you so much. I know it's late for you, so take care. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Hey, let's see if we can get to today's high of 17,012 and a half. Oh. So I didn't realize I joined the trade right at 2 o'clock, which, as I'm looking now at price action, that's when price started moving. in a different way than we've seen so far. And that's why we're now at reaching highs for the afternoon session, pushing for the high of the day. Yeah, it's funny how that happens sometimes. If you pay attention, you'll see at half of the hour or when a new hour comes around, you'll see price make a change. So let's see now if momentum can continue and break these daily highs and push up for the last couple hours of today. All right, let's delete this. All right, not quite, not quite. So price doesn't want to reach further daily highs just yet. Let's come back out with our Fibonacci and let's now test the retracement on this leg. Okay, we're a couple ticks away from 50%, which will put us in discount and a return to bullish prices if it wants to. Otherwise, we're going to see these lows tested, which is down by the fair value gaps. Okay, now that we see it retracing, so I'm going to go ahead and fill in the fair value gaps that I didn't draw, just so we can see if and when price stops. Let's remove this one. Okay, we still have two large areas. The first area is 992 down to 89, so about 3 points. And the next area is about 4 points. Yeah, it's a good candle. I like that one. Since this is a retracement fair value gap, let me switch to the other one as opposed to using the scalping one, just because it gives us a few more levels. Okay, not quite to 61.8%. But we dug pretty deep into the 50% range. So price was in discount when it bought up, and it could return all the way to lunchtime, or it already taken out lunchtime highs. It can go to the daily high from here, because it did already trade to discount of this price leg. Or we could see it go from here and retrace further and just kind of do one of these things right here and then there and then go up. So this could be what we see, or this leg could be gone totally. It could just run up from here. I'll leave this Fibonacci up for a little bit longer, just until we eclipse and close above this high. Then I'll remove it. But for now, let's leave it on there just in case we get a retracement down and we can see how deep we go. And we can just remember, especially if we get down to this fair value gap, that we're in between 71% and 83%. And anything below 88% is the next fair value gap. Thank you for the likes, everyone. Thanks for the likes. I can tell that people are enjoying the content. It's good to hear. Good to see. I want to see if we can't get a run up in here. Let's put this here. So I'll go and set up the other ones. I mean, they're small, but relevant for this price leg. And the largest one here. It worked today. Okay. Let's see if 50% of this wick is enough to hold price. We do like to see price traded into 50% of the wick, but we want to see it hold, push upwards. All right, that didn't hold. Let's now check on the next fair value gap. We want to see at least one of these hold. Otherwise, this is our next target. This is where we're going. And then potentially we can come out of this and make a higher price. Okay, I just wanted to make sure the 5-minute was a bit more visible. So if you want to just see how price has been progressing this session, this low that I have my cursor on now is right around the 1 o'clock. Well, 1 o'clock was actually up here, and then we pushed down. So we basically went around 110 until now. We had a buy up from 966 up to about 710, and now we're doing a retracement. Okay, but even on the 5-minute so far, lows have been protected on its way up. Okay, these two both can be deleted. All right, we see price over in a 5-minute fair value gap. Let's see if that holds. You can see that in the bottom left-hand corner. Okay, about another minute before the 5-minute candle closes. So let's see what type of reaction we get out of that fair value gap, and if we get a good push upwards for that candle to close. Okay, one more 30-second candle, and then the 5-minute will close. I've seen the Patrick Whelan channel, like I know who he is, but I haven't been to a session and watched him trade. I know he's like hugely popular, but no, I'm not sure of his trading style, and I haven't actually watched his live trading. Are you recommending his channel? You recommending it to me? Hey. Okay, so that 5-minute candle did close outside of the fair value gap. So let's see if that'll hold. Let's also mark up these two equal lows, just so we don't get surprised if price makes an energetic move down to sweep those. Okay. Okay, while price is still moving slowly and not really making a lot of progress, I'm going to jump over and take a peek. 1 hour, just so I can gauge what the dollar and the other indices are doing. All right, so the Dow and the dollar are following each other. They're both selling so far for this hour. And then we have an S&P and Nasdaq running together, both buying for the hour. No one has made new highs. The dollar has not made new lows. Yep. Who knows? Maybe this will be one of those days where the power hours, where all the volatility happens. So therefore, we have to stay on to make sure that we don't miss that. Okay, we just closed out the first half hour of 2 o'clock. As you can see, let's just kind of mark out what 2 o'clock gave us. So we went from here to here, to here, to here, to here, and now we're on our way back. So not a lot, not a lot to speak of right now. Right, and this range here is about 10, 12 points. So this is not what you want to get caught up in. You want to stay away from trying to trade in here and wait for price to either break out to the upside or a significant breakdown. Remember, we're still looking at the Fibonacci. So we had a trade to discount, bought up, but it couldn't eclipse the high, traded back down to the exact same level. I wouldn't be surprised if we struggle again to get the high, and we're going to have to go lower. And that's why these double lows are marked up. Because in order to get higher, we just may have to go sweep those lows, get down here to 71% retracement, hit the fair value gap, and then push for higher prices. this here. Yep. Yeah. ES made a new high today. Let me see. Mathematical genius. Appreciate that. Let me think. Who else made a high today? Nasdaq made a high today. Actually, I believe all did. Let me go back. Yep. ES made its high during 11 o'clock hour. The Dow made a high during 11 o'clock hour. Oh, so all three during 11 o'clock hour. So all three really did it 9, 10, and 11. And then they've been struggling ever since. And then on the dollar, we were looking for the dollar to make a new low for the week, which it did. Did that at 10 o'clock. It had actually equal lows 10 and 11. And now it's retracing a bit. So it's been buying over lunch, and the 1 o'clock hour, it pretty much didn't do anything. And so far this hour has been uneventful as well. So what that might mean is that price is, holding put until tomorrow when there's a red folder. And let me just take a peek at tomorrow's news. Okay, so tomorrow we only have two news events, both at 10 o'clock. There's a red folder, which is consumer confidence, and then an orange folder, existing home sales, both to be released tomorrow at 10 o'clock in the morning. So if you join the session, the morning session tomorrow, when we first get on, we should see some fireworks. So we'll, for the most part, take a look at where price has been during the morning session, look and see what 10 o'clock does for us as far as spikes in prices. And then we'll look to probably do some trades starting around 10:30. But it is important that you pay attention and watch what happens between 9:30 and 10:30. All right, we might get some higher prices here. So far, not looking bad. I thought we may have to come down and take out these equal lows before pushing up, but let's see. Okay, 7008 is the next level we need to get above. So we can clear this high and then push for the next one at 09. And then for the daily high at 012, 17012 and a half. Okay, we just had a big candle push down. We had a sweep of one low. Now let's see if price wants to grab a couple more. Hmm. I'm gonna switch this 5 minute to the 15 minute just for a second, so we all can see what price has been doing for the day. Right, you know what? Let's go up to the hour. Yep. So if we take a peek at the hourly chart, right, from since yesterday's Asia session when it reopened, all the way through the night, all the way until pretty much 7, 8 o'clock this morning, price moved from 9:15 until like 9:60. So you're talking 40 or 50 points over a, I don't know, 12-hour period. So what we're seeing right now is nothing different than what everyone trading the London session has dealt with today as well. So we're not alone in the fact that we don't have a lot of price action, or that we don't see new highs or lows being created. This is just the way price action has been today. Here we have several equal lows. We have equal lows right here. These are all relative equals. Same with here, relative equals. We have this black line, which equal lows. So there's several liquidity areas that anyone in long could have their trades ended really quickly. Okay, first equal lows taken, second taken. Remember we had relative equal lows here, and then down here at 995, another section of equal lows. There we go, all of them, all at once. All right, let's see if we continue to get a push down to the 71% retracement level, which is that sweet spot of optimal trade entry, right at a fair value gap, which could provide a bullish bounce. So if we're looking for higher prices, this could be an area for that to start. Okay, all right, that's been achieved, 71% plus the fair value gap entry. All right, let's see if price wants to turn around and start bullish, or if it continues. Okay, with a nice rejection out of the fair value gap. So far about 5 points out of it. Okay, and this is the fair value gap created at 2 o'clock from that last impulse move up. Let me get rid of this line just to make it a little cleaner. Okay, pretty strong reaction out of the fair value gap so far. It did trade into a bearish fair value gap, so let's make sure it cleared that all the way and closed above. So we'll wait for this candle to finish. Anybody who jumped in down here should at least had 10 points of profit. And if you're still in the trade, you should probably be around 5 points above now. Let's see if this fair value gap holds. It traded through it, so let's see if now it becomes an inversion. And in a way, it kind of did because it created one here. So instead of calling it inversion and confusing people, let's just delete it. And see if this one is going to hold price above. So in that case, if you're in a trade, based on the way I like to trade, if I believe in a fair value gap, remember it's not the candle that made it, it's the one to the left. So I would have my stop loss here, which is also the entry of the trade. So that should be a break even for now. And then see if price will continue to run. And then if you get a sweep of a high, then you move your stop loss up to maybe the bottom of this candle, the one that made the fair value gap, or to the lower extreme of the fair value gap, which would then put you in profit just in case it turned around on you. But all those different tactics come with time, come with practice, come with experience. Let's get a closure above if we're going to stay bullish, at least above the 50%. We can. Okay, we did not, but we're still in the fair value gap. Okay, let's see if we can get a run above this high here. Take out a swing high, which would then make the lows here a bit stronger. Okay, still have not had a break of that swing high, which is what we want to see. This one here, just so we believe price is still moving in the direction we want it to. The last couple candles have been rejected, trying to make higher prices. Continues to push it back into the fair value gap. So we want to make note of that. We don't want to do anything, but let's just make note of it. Okay. Another rejection, but close outside of the fair value gap, which is good. Let's see if we can still run into that swing high up around 1704, I believe. 03, I mean, 1703. Okay, that was a good candle. Let's see if we can follow up with another one. Okay, I said follow up with another one. This isn't exactly what I had in mind. A full retracement back to the fair value gap and a closure right on it. So again, higher prices continue to get rejected. Let's hope that ceiling is getting weaker with each attempt. All right, maybe not. Okay, so we got a wick to the downside outside of the fair value gap. Let's hope we can still get a closure inside. Otherwise, maybe we're returning back to the fair value gap below. Okay, we've had this swing low swept now. So it grabbed a little bit of small amount of liquidity. Will that be enough? Or will it want more? If it wants more, then it needs to sweep this swing low and this swing low. Okay, almost 10 minutes before the hour. So it's likely running a macro now. It'll seek out some level of liquidity, and then we'll head into power hour and see how we've closed out today's day of trading. As we're heading towards the end, I noticed we have more concurrent viewers than we normally have. So I do want to take the time out to thank everyone for joining today. Not only joining, but sticking with us and staying in, helping us, watching the charts, being committed. It's really helping the channel out quite a bit, and I'm very, very appreciative of your effort. I mean, I could sit here and talk about trading all day, but if you don't want to listen, then I'm talking to myself. So I appreciate you being here. Okay, finally, we have 5 consecutive candles closing outside of this fair value gap. So maybe this down move was just a sweep of liquidity from here, and now we'll see some positive momentum towards the highs at 1707, which was the highs of the 2 o'clock hour, and then 17012, which is the high of the day. Anyone who joined recently, like the last half hour or so, and you're wondering where are we with the scalping strategy, we're still we're waiting to break out of this zone that we're in, so we can start looking for setups. Since we've been trading this afternoon, prices remain relatively consistent in the same little boxed area, and so because of it, we haven't taken any entries. Well, I'll take that back. I took one. It didn't work out for me, so uh, but it was in this same range, the same zone that I said I didn't want to trade in, but I did it anyway because I was impatient. I still fight that myself. Um, but we're waiting. We're waiting until price trades above 17012, and then that's sustained, and then we get a setup above that range. Okay, we're trading back to the fair value gap again. Let's see if it's worth taking a peek at this retracement. Okay, it's trading at the discount, touch the fair value gap, and now we got a strong reaction. It's possible, Chris. Actually, you know what? It could hit. Yeah, you're right. It did hit so many times this morning. If we continue to struggle against 17012 to make that new high, at some point, this little rally that we're seeing is going to fail. And when it fails, it's going to start sweeping lows all the way down back to 960. So, or 965. So let's just be patient and see what happens. The macro will complete in another 10 minutes, and we'll see what the power hour has for us. I'm hoping there are new highs to be gained, but we'll see. Let me just take another peek at. All right, so the dollar's going to close this hour with practically zero momentum or zero progress made for the last 2 hours. Right, so since lunch, the dollar hasn't really done anything. The Dow will close out this hour most likely, and it closes in 2 minutes as a bearish candle. So the Dow sold for the hour. The S&P is for the 2 o'clock hour is at the exact same place that it started. So far, we'll see how the next 2 minutes close out. But right now, it looks like there's no progress. And for the Nasdaq, looks like we may close out this hour about, so far we're about 6 points higher than we started. So the S&P flat, Nasdaq 5 or 6 points ahead, the Dow equally below. So it's about 15 points below, and the dollar, just kind of moping around, not doing much, right around its entry for the hour. So that's a quick update on the other indices as well as the dollar. It's out of the way. This fair value gap has been busy, very busy the last 20 minutes. Okay, power hour, welcome. We're here. 60 minutes. Let's see what we can get. Okay, just had a retracement down to the 50% of the fair value gap. Also, it's just past 61% retracement of this most recent leg, starting at 250. Let's see if we can swing above these highs, and then again push for these highs. 17,007. Oh, you're shorting down to 70. Okay. Okay, looks like we have a little push. Sorry, I gotta clean my mouse. I still use one of these old trackball mice that I bought back in 2007, or maybe before that, maybe 2005. I've had it that long. It still works. I think I'm the only person who still has a mouse with a cable on it, still attached to a wire. All-time high hangover. Right on, Chris. Absolutely. As soon as it makes that all-time high, then you just falls out. Bottom falls out. All right, Chris, looks like you might be onto something. Let's see what happens here. We had one closure below this fair value gap and it immediately reclaimed it. Anyone else in a trade at the moment? Oh, okay. Wow. All right, so we got two people in a room that are short. Completely makes sense. We're in the upper portion of a retracement or really a consolidation zone. Right, really similar to the long we took from here. We just took it up to the top of this area and got out of our trade. So it's actually I take the back. I think I got in at 2 o'clock. So it was a long from here up. So it was just this area. So it was more from a discount just below 50%. Took it up until it stopped moving and then exited. The trade down here, this was from earlier from the morning session. We took the trade from this area and got out a few points later. I think got 17 points roughly. Oh, wow. I missed this one. All right. So look at this retracement and rejection. Told you during the macro between 250 and 310 that price would seek out liquidity. So we see it starting at 250, which was this candle. First thing it did was take out this low for anyone who was thinking things were going long and they were going to put their stop loss there. So those people are out of the trade. Anyone who didn't move their stop and their stop was still here at this area towards the end of the macro. It's not quite 310 yet, but it ran those and made sure these people were also out. So you got everyone that had a stop loss here or here are no longer in the trade. Which essentially means the only people still in are these people who got in just before 2 o'clock. Got in before 2 o'clock and kept their stop loss at the original position. Okay, let's remove this fair value gap. It's no longer relevant. Hey, everyone who took a short, sitting pretty right now with a nice trade working in their favor. Okay, we have a fair value gap on the 5-minute down at 16,985. Let's be aware of where that is. It's right around here at the lower end of this fair value gap. So we could see price start pushing ahead from here. Let's just pay attention and make sure. Okay. All right, we've now hit that fair value gap area down at 985. Stop loss at 90. Okay. Good job. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Sort of still in there. Ah, took you out, Chris. Okay. Well, good news is you were able to see what you thought was stalled price and the willingness to seek lower prices. You entered the trade confidently. You watched price start to deliver, and you protected your capital. So good job, Chris. Way to go. Okay. And eventually those two micros will turn into two minis, and 12 handles on two minis, $500. So, so nothing to be ashamed of. That was a good trade. Jeffrey, are you still in the trade? Are you still short? Okay, we had a swing high here. All right, it's 111, or not 111, 311. So that means the macro is now over. And we can see what the objective of the macro was. The macro ran from this point to this point. All right, let me just change this so we can actually see it. All right, so between these two black lines is the macro. So you can see it started here, and what it went for is these lows. It first took this one, kept its same consolidated price action, and then it caved down and took out these, filling in the fair value gap down here from 2 o'clock. So like I said, everyone who got in before 2 o'clock and kept their stops down here, all those trades are still in play, and all the others have been taken out. So let's see what the final 45 minutes is going to give us. We've seen a strong bullish movement out of this fair value gap. And so let's see now if that continues and if we can get up to 17,012, which is the daily high. Oh, nice, Jeffrey. Good job. Sweet. Yeah, I took a trade earlier this morning for, I think, about $380 profit. And then I took a $200 loss and then a $220 win or so. So I'm about $400 up for the day on 3 trades. Okay, delete that swing high. Price has already traded past and closed past it. We saw a retracement into this top fair value gap. We saw a close above the 50% level. We now see price being bullish out of the fair value gap. So let's see if now we can eclipse these equal highs and then go for the next level at 17,005. Right, it'll be really interesting, especially over the next 15 minutes, if we see price show a willingness to make a new high for the day, or if it's going to get close and then crash and burn like all the other attempts, and then we just end up staying in the range. But even though today has been very range bound, I just spoke about a couple longs that I took that worked out. We just saw Chris and Jeffrey speak about a short that they were in that worked out for them. So there's still trades to be made in ranging days. It's just not big trades. All right. So far, all indices are pretty much moving sideways for this hour, even though it's been 15 minutes so far. Right. If we think about from the start of the hour, we had a dip and now we're back where we started right here. And the other indices are doing the exact same thing. So they don't really have a lot of progress either. Looking at the dollar is it's a couple points above where it started. Not doing a lot either. It still hasn't eclipsed the high from 2 hours ago. So I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't really have a clear indication of what the next hour is going to bring us. I really don't. But we're going to figure this out together. Okay, so we equaled this high here at 17,005, which is a good accomplishment so far. We do want to see it eventually get to 007 and a quarter and eclipse the high, or actually higher than that. Let's see if we can't get up to 008 even. Um, that'll eclipse these equal highs here, and then we'll go for 09.25. So pretty much every point is taking us to a previous high from 2 o'clock. We keep getting close, crash. Get close, crash. Close to the previous one, crash even further. We finally had one that we did eclipse. Let's see if we can then go and capture the previous ones that we couldn't get to the top. If not, expect another crash down to probably lower than what we've seen so far. So the original value, I think Chris said he was looking for 70. It could be in play. We could see it. But for now, everything's looking bullish. So let's continue to look for longs and see if we're going to reach for higher prices. We've been wrestling with 17,000 for quite some time, trying to stay above, um, get a closure above and stay above. It looks like now we're still wrestling with that same level, but we might be getting somewhere. So I just want let me just put a marker there so we can keep our eye on that level. Okay, we got a rejection and a close outside of. Keep pushing. Let me just put this here so we know when price is pushed through it. We don't want to see this hole. We want price to push through that so we can see higher prices. Hmm. All right, we had a strong candle push through this fair value gap, and then we had a retracement closing above. So let's see if that means anything for the next few candles. All right, let's keep in mind I did put a Fibonacci here on the full range. So we are below the 50%. So if price wants to turn around and start becoming bullish again, it's well within the range. All right, so we got a really strong candle here. Okay, we'll delete this as well. All right, at 310, when the macro was completed, we had saw price come down and sweep out lows. We thought maybe we'd see a bullish position put in. We did see it run up and equal the high prior to the low during the macro, but we didn't see anything higher than that. So we didn't get all the way up to 007 or the daily high of 012. We still can, but we just saw a 78% retracement from these lows put in at around 310, and then this big push up we had about the following 5 minutes, pushed up about 20 points. So now if we're already 80% retraced, you're talking 16 points already taken off. Let's see if bullish momentum can return and we can start pushing. Otherwise, like here where we're getting a rejection off 50% of this fair value gap, we're going to see lower prices. And in that case, my friend Chris, I know you wanted 16,970. Looks like that might be in play. Okay. All right. Looks like on a higher time frame, we still have that fair value gap down at 985 on the 5 minute that we saw the bounce out of last time, which is essentially the lower quarter of this fair value gap. So let me just stretch this out. Even this small one here, we never saw a closure below. We saw 2 wicks below, but the closures were inside. Hey, starting to wipe out some of these fair value gaps that were down on the lower end, pushing up for higher prices. Let's look and see if maybe this 88% retracement was the full retracement, and now we're going to see a run up to those higher prices. I'm sorry. You don't like me talking about trading? Yeah, my dog just walked in. He's not he's not excited that I'm not paying attention to him. Quiet. Okay, Truffle. Quiet. Okay, come on. Let's go. Sit. Okay, one by one, it's removing them. Let's see if it can take out the last one. It's also right at 17,000, where we want to trade above and remain above. closed, it was almost there. And right before it closed, it pulled back in. All right, Chris, let's see. Okay, we just had a rejection off of this fair value gap, closed below. Next candle seems to be following suit. Now let's take a look at these fair value gaps and just make sure they're holding price. We did have a sweep here of these equal lows. We had 3 of them. Okay, so we should have a test of this fair value gap coming up. See if it holds price. Okay. Okay, now we have equal lows put in. Hmm. All right, we got to return back to the 17,000 level. Price is now retesting the fair value gap again. Just came up to the 50% level. Let's really see where this candle closes. This is going to be an important candle. Yeah, that was a strong reaction. However, somewhat rejected that long wick. So if we're going to seek lower prices, you'll want to see this entire wick taken out. We want to see a return to the green bullish fair value gap, and we'll want to see that traded through to the equal lows down there. So we got about 30 minutes before all the funded traders closes the accounts for the day. All right, so this entire wick has now been traded through and closed below, which is a good sign for bears looking for lower prices. Okay. Don't need that anymore. Wow, what a reaction. So let's get rid of this fair value gap. It's been traded through and closed above. Let's see if now price will stay above and start peeling off some of these highs. 05, 06, 07, and then 12, which is the daily high. So we're about 10 points away from the daily high. Okay. All right, finally took out these equal highs from 3 o'clock and 3:15. Up next, remember 07 was the high of the 2 o'clock hour. Well, I take that back. The high of the 2 o'clock hour was 09, and then 12 is the high of the day. Okay, we had a rejection off of the 07 level. Okay, let's see if we can get this fair value gap to hold. We can see price went down to the 50% level and rejected off of that. So we might see a couple bullish candles following. All right, let's get ready to remove this fair value gap here. Since we had such a big push down, let's see where it closes. The last two times we saw price reject it from this level. Okay, it looks like it was going to stick this time. And so did this one. So these equal lows were taken out. All right, everyone, keep an eye on the clock. We're now 15 minutes away from 4 o'clock. Anyone who's in a trade or thinking about getting in a trade, just remember what time it is. One more time. All right. Let's see. So let's stretch these out and see if this is where price is going. There you go, Chris. There's your 90. Oh, okay. Yeah, I switched over from ES to the NQ back in, I think it was June when I switched over. Good job, Chris. So you shorted, where'd you short from? Up here around 1700 or 17,000? Yeah, it definitely moves a little quicker than ES. That was the reason why I switched over. I needed a bit more action. Um, but you're right. It's fun. Oh, sweet. So you got a 12 pointer. Very nice. That's awesome. All right, we're getting close to the end of the day. Just wanna thank everyone for being here with us today and for helping out with this trading session. We had quite a few people announce that they were having wins, either shorts or longs. So that's excellent to hear. Even some came in and said, they were in a negative prior to the session starting, and then they sat through the session, and by the end of the session, they said they were at break even or better. So that's also excellent to hear. Um, and for everyone who didn't trade and was just watching and listening, thank you for being here as well. Everyone's contributing to the community, and if you like what you saw and what you heard, please subscribe. so we can make sure that you're always invited for future sessions and we can continue to grow our community. Um, and if you're still on the fence and you're not sure, but you did sit through it today and you enjoyed what you saw, click the like button. And from there, YouTube will recognize that quite a few people in the room is enjoying the material, and they'll start to show this to others, and it'll pop up on a recommendation page, and hopefully we can continue to grow and get more people in our room. But this is excellent. I'm really excited and happy at where we are right now. We've been pushing hard for the last 3 weeks, and I've started to see some familiar names, and we have several people joining every single day. Some people both sessions, the morning and the evening. We've had people from all over the world chime in, so I'm just really happy with the way things are developing. So I want to thank everyone in the community for that. Okay, the candles are starting to get larger, it seems. Oddly enough, it's 350. Probably another one of those macros running. It's going to run and sweep highs and then drop back and settle somewhere in the middle and just move at a snail's pace until 5 o'clock. And that's just me throwing out a prediction from what I'm seeing. Trust me, I am not a market maker, and I reserve the right to be wrong. With a sweep of this high, which is a good thing to see. And that was a quick, I don't know, in 3 or 4 candles, so a couple minutes, it just ran up 16 points. Yep. Putting in the highest value since the 2 o'clock high. In fact, let me put a marker on it so we can see exactly where we landed. An equal of the 2 o'clock high. So that's sweet right there. And gotta say it, 3 points below the daily high, which we've been pushing for all afternoon, trying to get to the daily high. We're now 2 points away, and let's see if we get it before 4 o'clock. Come on, 1250. 17012.5. Can we get it? One point away. Oh, look at price. Look at it. Such a tease. All right. The high of this candle, 17011.75. So 3/4 of a point away from the daily high. And now it's retracing a little bit. But the day's not over yet. We still have 5 minutes. I think we can get there. Oh, sweet. Very sweet. Awesome. Yeah, if you got in anywhere in here, you were able to get 4 or 5 points easily. Good job. Yeah, we just saw price run up 20 points. traded down. Chris and whoever was short was jumping out down here at 990. And anyone who went long from there, it delivered 20 points pretty quickly. And here comes the daily high. Can we get there? Half a point. There we go. Boom. Got it. All right. So the market rewarded everyone who was patient and willing to wait. I mean, because if you look at price action on any of the higher time frames, it was always bullish, just not making progress. And then here we go. Gotta love it. Oh, man. What a day. What a day. Let's see how everyone else is performing. Okay, ES just made highs. Dow just made a new high. And now finally we have the dollar moving lower for the hour. All right, so it took a while, but everything got in sync, and we got all the indices moving towards higher prices, taking out those lows from 3 or 4 hours ago, and we saw the dollar just kind of stall and stale and not make any progress. The good news is it didn't go higher because we wanted to see the commodities go higher, but it didn't go lower, which we were hoping to see. So we'll just continue to monitor it and see if we can get the dollar start moving lower during the Asian session or tomorrow morning. But I do like to see those move in opposite directions. All right, so that's what a close to a session. What a close. Let's get rid of these lines. We don't need them anymore. I'm even going to get rid of the fair value gaps. I don't think they'll still hold any weight when I come back tomorrow. Get rid of our long tool. I'm not taking any more trades today. There we go. Sweet. All right, so in a nutshell, this was our afternoon. All of this, nothing, and then the last 10 minutes. What a day, what a day. Dollar dropping finally. Sweet. Yeah, it is. Good. Good for the dollar. We need it to. Got equal lows down there from a few hours ago. It should probably go get tonight or tomorrow morning. Jeffrey, I start streaming 10 o'clock New York time, 10 a.m. New York. If you join the channel, you should have, you'll get a warning or, sorry, you'll get an invitation, sort of like a notification, 30 minutes before I come on. So just in case you forgot, your phone will alert you. Other than that, just remember, I come on 30 minutes after the opening bell. All right. Any questions or comments? Anything else anyone wants to say before today's session's over? Appreciate it. Thank you very much for all of that. I got 17 likes on the video. I believe the most we've ever had is 19. So let's see if we can have the most likes ever on this session. See if we can get up to 20. Oh man, look, price is just leaving the screen. I got to adjust my screen. It's running so high. This is what we were waiting for all afternoon. And the market waited until everyone was exhausted, had closed their laptops, and was moving on to start their evening. And then it delivered. That's what we need to do. Yeah, let's have a good week so we can have a good Christmas. but this is awesome. I want to thank everyone for joining today and for being here and for helping create the atmosphere here. I had a good time. So with that, and on that note, I'm going to close the stream. I'm going to say thank you once again, and have a good rest of your day. Have a good evening, good night, and we'll touch base in the morning. For anyone looking for the morning session, 10 a.m. New York time. Thank you all. Cheers.